So yeah, we should talk about what is biodynamic craniosacral therapy these days, and just wondering how it is for you at the moment. What's kind of interesting. I mean, what are the important features of the work at the moment, really?
Yeah, it's got more and more simple for me, endlessly simple. I think the most important thing is we're about embodiment, so creating safety in a body through relational touch. I think it's a really nice phrase that we use a lot. And just the simple power of feeling connected to this inner world of often very messy feelings. We have enormous skill at helping people meet and negotiate that difficult territory. And the difference from us from most other therapies is that we sort of non-doing, so this sort of very permissive, gentle exploration. And it's not primarily verbal, though verbal skills can be very important, sort of adjunct to the work, but it's a sort of embodied negotiation, interactive process of meeting messy sensations and exploring the business of feeling.
Yeah, good. I like the simple thing a lot, because I think that's what's happened for me. This kind of touch and presence, contact and felt sense of awareness just seems to be the order of the day. I think we're just really starting to explore that whole world, really. I feel like it's just kind of opened up. And, it's all about health and orientation to what's going on in terms of well-being and how the body's health is organising the physiology, and I think that's changed my practice enormously. I just got really good at listening to health and its expressions in me and in clients, really.
Yeah, what do you think the key feature of health is as we experience it?
Probably the fluid body, what we call the fluid body, I think. I think it's a beautiful concept that Sutherland had originally, that's just still a big deal. I think when people's bodies go into that amazing sort of amorphous state and just start to drop into fluid body state, then they're in a wholeness, they're in some amazing sort of high potent place, really, where suddenly they can reorganise themselves with a degree of ease.
I agree. I think that feature of a self-organising, self-regulating organism and expresses health through a sense of coherence and rhythmic pulses.
Yeah.
And I mean, generally, the slower the rhythm, the more seems to be included, and the more someone's sense of themself expands. And very much an inside-out process for me, but a sense of deepening into connection, and that's expressed as a rhythmic body, all sorts of rhythms, but the sense of everything coalescing into a coherent tune or song. I like that metaphor. Yeah. We're playing kind of an orchestra coming together to create a sort of coherent tune.
Yeah, stunning. I think it's coming back to a original health and wholeness. I mean, I guess we use those words a lot, really. Coming back to that sort of embryonic baby state that life can kind of disrupt, and you can get all kinds of fragmentations in the body, can't you? So I guess I see the beauty of this work as allowing people to find that again, and the fluid body being, in a way, an ability to almost go underneath the autonomics, just drop away from it a little bit. And we see people, don't we, just going very still, finding this fluid expression, and then coming back into the physiology and doing the most remarkable reorganizations. And what are we doing? We're kind of sitting there in a very simple place, aren't we?
Creating some boundaries around a slow, gentle introduction to finding safety, because sometimes when we begin to feel or meet those spaces, it's unusual and strange and scary sometimes.
Yeah.
But that ability to have a guide or a witness or a facilitator to that process really enhances.
Yeah, totally.
I think there's a really important point for me around kind of trauma-informed bodywork.
Yeah.
So absolutely about the body, absolutely about the joy and sense of ease that can happen through embodiment, but recognising that bodies can get stuck in overwhelming patterns and get lost. And, part of that is this huge understanding of dissociation, and sometimes a long, slow journey of reconnection and coming out of dissociative states, as well as turning down overactive kind of contractions and tightnesses and holdings.
Yeah, totally. I think that's been a big advance, really, for the last 15, 20 years. Just this idea that therapy is trauma resolution therapy, really. that is superb. I mean, I just don't know anything like it. I mean, people just come in with years, decades of trauma sitting in the physiology, and straight away the body's trying to do something about it. And how do we even do that? I mean, part of it is a kind of balanced awareness. You know, we're kind of sitting there, I guess, in a sort of so-called neutral state, but I think it's understanding the nature of trauma, actually, a lot of it, and how it feels, and this idea of the body needs a safe space, and I think the relational field idea has become about a safe space, really. I mean, that's the, you know.
I think that part about understanding is really important. For me, it's very important that my clients are actively engaged in the process, and part of that is a clarity around, you know, you're not mad, bad and broken, but there's reflexes inside you that are running and hijacking and functioning. Yeah. And to give people a framework where they have agency and the ability to act and feel and negotiate these difficult states. And it's not just done through the therapist, though primarily that's an initial starting point, but really it's kind of people taking away skills where they can ongoingly learn to check in with feelings and feel safe in that space, and negotiate more and more complex, difficult sensations out in the real world. I really don't like the idea of cranial work as a passive process where we do something to someone. I don't like my clients falling asleep. Sometimes, you know, people are just exhausted and you let their system recover. But this development of a sort of quite precise, nuanced, detailed awareness and ability to track and negotiate with sensations, I think that's a huge part of what we do. So education around how bodies work and what it's possible to feel, and then skills building to interact with complex feelings.
As they arise.
And that's sort of, I think it's very inherently empowering, the idea that pain and anxiety and depression, existential angst is all something you can negotiate, and you can find safety to reconstruct and unpick that and find safety within that.
That's a beautiful thing. I think it's an educational process these days. You know, people seem uninformed, almost a bit baffled about what's going on with them a lot of the times, and the richness of the trauma model in this, our training, I think is stunning, really. And we can, in a way, I feel like I'm sort of offering that to clients and saying, hey, your system's hyper-aroused, because that can be quite a surprise to people, or, you know, your system's gone into a freeze mode and you've got a degree of dissociation. I mean, just to name those things, it's so remarkable.
And I like that, you know, inherently intelligent processes in the body. So there are mechanisms that are striving for health. Intelligence in the nervous system, but intelligence in this sort of fluid cellular body, so the immune system, and this sense of information flowing as something that we can feel, like we feel a surge in the blood flow or a softening in tissues, or something reorganizes in terms of reflexes, and there's a ripple or a shiver that goes through the body. And I don't do much more complex than that, actually. There's flows and shifts and morphings and ripples and tightnesses, and something warms up or something gets colder, and that's plenty to support someone to feel engaged. And then we kind of dialogue maybe their experience of what that is and how they create meaning out of it.
No, it's fantastic that people can so strongly respond as well. I think that they can be a little bit shocked really by that, you know, just coming in, we're holding the head of the sacrum and the body's starting to just get into some quite serious connection to health and reorganization of the body, and just I love the bodyworkness of this therapy, you know, because it is such a bodywork, and in a way for me it's got more like that, whereas, you know, people's spines are shifting around and the fascial body's doing some kind of remarkable, you know, reframing and so on, you know, it's just like absolutely so special, you know, and then the organ system's off, and then the brain just seems to be doing this remapping and sort of coming back into a beautiful sort of neural balance. That just seems to be the order of the day, really. Not that long ago, I couldn't really feel the central nervous system, and now it's just coming through in this beautiful glory, and everything's sort of talking to each other in a very new way.